Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Please say hi in the comment section and let me know where you are joining me from. Hi, everyone. My name is Flora Bezi. I am a digital accessibility expert and founder at Linoratech. Linoratech is an incredible company with the value and mission to help leaders and professionals easily create products that are inclusive to everyone. And I really mean it. Products that are inclusive for people with visible or invisible disabilities included, right? So I love to describe myself because in the audience, oftentimes there are people with low vision or people who are blind. So I am a Black woman. I'm always smiling. You might be able to tell that I'm even laughing with the tone. I am currently rocking long hair. It's like black and burgundy. I am wearing a teal suit and a black jumper. And that's about it. Don't feel shy. Say hi in the comment section. Let me know where you are joining me from. I see a few comments popping. Yeah, I see Ghana is here from Vermont, US. Hi, Ghana. I'm super happy to see you here. Um, Again, if you have any question at any point in time, just drop the question in the comment section. If you have any thought to share, drop that as well in the comment section. One thing that I might disclose today, which is crazy, but I have to be very transparent, is that I am not able to locate my guest. Could be that there is a technical problem on his side, or there is an issue that he will probably tell me about later on. But I'm going to keep on moving with the show with the hope that he's able to join me live. If not, we will have to reschedule and see how to move forward. I must tell you that I started freaking out because I did receive an email confirmation from him today that he will be here, but for some reasons, I am not able to get in touch with him. So, whew, I am not gonna freak out. You know, sometimes when you plan for something and different things happen, that's the case today. But we're still gonna talk really about this topic, which is dear to my heart and to many people's heart as well. Talking about widgets, right? Talking about overlays. And we'll talk about the risk, the lies, and perhaps a path to a true accessibility. So please, if you're joining me at any point in time, just say hi. If you have any reaction, please go ahead, thumbs up, anything. If you have any question, feel free. Again, this platform is meant for us to engage and collaborate. So I am not really an expert. I'm still learning every day, but I think that I've been in that space for quite some time and I had a chance to support incredible companies. Anyway, let's talk about widget and overlays. Some of you have heard about widgets and overlay. Can you please put widget or overlays in the chat section just to let me know if you heard about it? You can say yes. If you haven't, you can say no. But just to make sure that we are all understanding from the same base, or we all have the same information of understanding, I will probably describe what is a widget and what is an overlay in accessibility. So usually a widget or an overlay, it's a piece of code or a component that you can add to your website, for example, and that piece of code is supposed to remove many limitations, many barriers, many issues with compliance for accessibility inclusion, which is fantastic whenever you hear it at first. You know, in one click or just adding a piece of code will just solve all the problem. Uh, at least that's what the overlays companies have been selling to people. So as you know, there is a lot of demand for website to be inclusive and accessible to everyone. And that will include people with visible and invisible disabilities, such as people who are blind, people who might not probably be able to use their hands, they're probably using their voice for navigation, people who are deaf, or people with, color blindness, or maybe some people with cognitive impairments, and so much more. The list goes on, but I'm not going to bore you with that part. You can always search or Google to understand who is impacted when websites are not inclusive and accessible. We also have people who are aging. There are also times where people just have a temporary disability. Sometimes you can be sick, or maybe you hurt your eye and now your eyes, and now you are not able to see. So you will have to use maybe a screen reader for navigation. So despite that, there's a lot of laws and acts that are asking for people, for organization, for website to be inclusive and accessible. And to make that happen, vendors of overlays have found that by giving just a little code to companies, they can resolve the problem. I see Amihai is actually joining us. I am not able to see his camera, but I know very soon he's gonna be live. So I'm excited. So I see also Ghana. Ghana said, no, I don't know much about overlay. Thank you for sharing, Ghana. And again, please feel free to share your thought. Let me know if you heard about overlays or widget before. Don't feel shy, okay? So as I was saying, there is a requirement for website to be inclusive and accessible. And oftentimes organizations take the chance to hire accessibility testers, accessibility specialists, accessibility developers, to fix those problems, to fix those barriers. But sometimes it can be time consuming, and it can be also very expensive. And so new vendors came with the idea of the overlay. Oh gosh, I can't wait for Amihai to be visual and visible here, but I can see that he. Oh, Amihai, I can hear your microphone, but I cannot see you yet. So
I'm
I'm just
still
gonna
having
remove
some
it.
technical issues.
No problem. So Amihai is here. He's gonna share everything. And so you can see that the vendors came with an idea, a solution, just to fix the problem quickly for organization. This solution is quite interesting. It is solving problem. It is also causing problem. So, I mean, I don't want to share everything, but oh my goodness. So right now we are trying, I think Amihai is trying to fix his tech problem. Hopefully he can log on soon. Amihai, if it's not working, maybe just drop off and come back again. Hopefully that will work. So let's talk about, now that we understand why why do we need accessibility widget, or what is an accessibility widget and what is an overlay. It's just a solution to fix the accessibility problems or issues on website. It's a great solution if you're trying to meet accessibility compliance. But as I said before, this solution is a solution that can be also risky. The ease of the overlay is that you just need to add one piece of code and it will reduce the problem. Let me tell you a little bit about my own experience. So, oh gosh, do I have to be transparent with you guys? I will be transparent. So basically, years ago, when I decided to launch my company, Linoratech, I was looking for, a quick, easy way to create a website and put my services out there. Let's just tell you, no, there were no website that websites were not compliant with accessibility. Most of the website had so many failures, many errors, so it didn't work. And so I had to just choose one website that was kind of better. Still gave me 70, almost 100 failures, which was not ideal. And so at some point, very frightened because my work is to promote accessibility. My work is to help in accessibility. And so I was tempted and I got an overlay and widget. Gosh, when I used that overlay, it reduced the amount of failure almost closer, well, closer to zero. Let's just say that. I was pumped. I was like, yes, finally, something easy to use. Guess what? When I started using the screen reader, the keyboard navigation, and things like that, I noticed there were a lot of failures left. And I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? If this overlay is telling me it will solve all the problem, why am I still seeing a lot of problem on the page? You know what? Gosh, I was not happy 100%. But I now have Amihai. Amihai is here. Oh my goodness, Amihai, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see you again. You know, this is what happens sometimes when technology doesn't allow us to do certain things
Absolutely.
in one way, but we find another way. So this is, all about accessibility somehow.
I
But
guess
I'm so
so. I
happy.
guess so. Tried to
Yes.
connect with my computer, and apparently the camera didn't work, so shifted to eventually to my mobile.
Oh
Unfortunately,
no. I can tell because of the frame. But Amir, can you please introduce yourself and let the audience know who you are, what you do?
absolutely. Um, Somewhere around 14 years ago, I came across the field of web accessibility. Um, my background is technology and design. By the way, I am a parent for three children. I live in Israel. I used to live in the States for a for a few years. And in during 2011, that's where I came across the field of web accessibility. Uh, so it was kind of a process for me to discover this topic. It was an evolution starting in my 20s when I came across people with disability and as I worked with kids with disabilities. And then around like 15, 20 years later, I came up with an idea that was supposed to help um, people with visual impairments to use the internet. And the topic of web accessibility was revealed to me as I was searching through this field. And the idea in those days to provide a solution to the website to a company that is interested in converting its code to become compliant was novel at that point. Nowadays, it's like common, but then it was very novel. The idea of the overlay, and the idea behind the overlay is not to is to help an organization in that shifting process. So it starts with an overlay, and eventually they would get trained, and they will have the knowledge to do what they need to do with their development teams. That's kind of 2011. Is it like 13 years ago? I
Wow.
guess time goes fast.
Time goes certainly fast, but I love what you're sharing. So you were introduced to accessibility a long time ago, and it was because you were supporting people with disabilities, including kids. You even said when I met you that one of the reasons why you started really focusing and working for accessibility was because, and I quote, you had a calling after seeing kids taken away from homes. You know, when you said that to me, I was like, what? I was shocked. Can you kind of expand on that?
So when I was a student in my 20s, I had an opportunity to work in a special home for kids. And as I started to work with the kids, I discovered that these kids are having hearing disabilities. They taught me the sign language. So I learned the sign language in Hebrew. And in that process, I also discovered those kids were taken out by social care from their homes due to the violence they have experienced, sometimes also because of their disability. Um, so, coming across these beautiful kids that came so directly to my heart, kind of shifted my life and changed my life toward and working with people and communities that were less fortunate
Mhm.
as I were, and it still is, and still something I'm doing. And it was a privilege to meet those kids and to experience that. Yes, absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. I can see so many people relate to that, you know. First of all, I think that excluding someone or treating someone unfairly because they have a disability is not right. You know, I've seen and heard many stories about people being let go also of on their job because they disclose that they have a disability. I see sometimes also parents being very confused as to how to even navigate or educate their kids, uh, kids who have a disability. So definitely, this is really a heartfelt topic. One of the things that I want to ask the audience, since we are talking about accessibility and disability, I know I did mention a few people with a disability. Can you please write in the comment section what disability type have you probably met or heard of? I'm just trying to gauge and also invite you really in that conversation. I'm pretty sure, I mean, here you said, for example, one of the kids that you were working with was a person who was deaf, and therefore you learned the sign language.
That's
I
correct.
sometimes lose my voice. I had that issue a long time ago. Someone told me, Flora, you had a temporary and episodic disability. It means it's something that comes and go, and we don't even
Wow.
know when it comes and goes. So yeah, but it's been 6 years that it didn't show up because the last time I think I was mute for maybe 2 months or 3 months. I couldn't talk. I was whispering, or sometimes I don't even have voice. But it's been 6 years, so you know,
Wow.
episodic it is. A disability, it's something that, yes, it's crazy. And some people even have a disability, but they don't even know about it. But you said that there were a solution because you, my friend, was one of the founder of overlays and widget. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So to be kind of accurate about this, when in 2011, the idea of an overlay was very novel at that point. There were concepts around that topic that were developed by IBM a few years before, but there was no overlay in the way I have created. The idea behind that overlay that I have created at that point was to add a JavaScript code to a website, just like Google Analytics or any other widget that you may find online. And that code will provide a library of codes that a developer can come in and adjust the original code, the code of that in the website, without impacting the original website. This idea was novel at that point. And
It's
basically that's
almost
what
like
we came up with.
you have your clothes and you're adding a suit on it, and then you just have your
Exact.
pieces.
Wow. Perfect. Perfect. Brilliant.
I love
I
it.
think this is like the best example I've ever
Yes,
heard.
it is.
It's the best example I ever heard. Seriously.
And so, what happened with the overlay? What was the impact of having an overlay? What was the benefit of having an overlay? And I know that we may run out of time, so let's kind of share a bit fast and cover as much as possible. Technical issues happen. We can control everything, but yeah, what was the benefit of having even
So
overlay?
it comes with a positive and a negative side to it. The positive side is that before 2011, the idea of having accessible websites was not common, was not that common.
Mhm.
Having an overlay, having a button, a widget somewhere on your website brings the awareness to everyone that is going to the website. Today, these days, if I go to people and say, "Are you familiar with the web accessibility with this button, and you have like a menu and it opens?" Yeah, 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 I know this. Like most of people know this. So, in terms of awareness, it brought up into the awareness of people there is a need.
Yes.
On the other hand, due to the way overlay has developed with the notion of AI and everything is compliant automatically, and which is absolutely not correct,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Due to that trend, the awareness wasn't enough, and these days we are experiencing a negative impact of that, and that's kind of unfortunate. But on one hand, people are more aware. On the other hand, we see it's not going well, and there is a long way for improvement.
Definitely, and I agree with you. I see someone put a comment, and again, please don't feel shy. Put comment if you have any question, if you need any clarification on something. Amihai is here. Ask the question, okay? So here, what I see, I see Amir is trying to talk to his family. But I see Ghana. Ghana said people with vision impairment. When I asked the question, what type of disability do you know? This is what she said. Thank you so much, Ghana, for sharing. And I agree with you. There are so many disability types that you may not even be able to tell by just looking at someone. Will you have guessed that I went through a case of mutism? No, you can't tell. So it's very important not to judge any customers because you don't know who has a disability and who does not. Same with clients, same sometimes even with kids. So it's really important to approach everything with empathy and understanding. But I love what you said, Amihai, about the solution. Why widgets and overlays were important. One is to reduce, the work around making accessibility, you know, compliant on website. If you have a code that is perfect, you just add it and you go, so you don't have to worry about any other thing. So simplicity was one of the reasons. The other thing is cost, like you mentioned. Having many people to work on the overlay or fixing your website sometimes costs a lot. But you also mention awareness of your brand, because then when we see an overlay, we kind of guess that you care about accessibility to some extent. But the places where everything goes down is the promise of the overlay. Some overlays are not really well done, and so it's leaving a lot of gaps and failures behind, making people feel like they're secure because they did the right thing by buying the right suit, right? The overlay, but actually that overlay is not doing much. And so that creates a lot of friction. And if you don't know, you can Google. There is actually a vendor of overlays and widget that are going, well, in 2023, they were going through a lawsuit. I don't know if the case was closed at some point, but you can go and Google and see. Overlays can be dangerous, especially if you don't know much about accessibility. I think overlay can be used as a strategy, but here is the question, Amihai. You said that there is a true, path to accessibility. Can you just expand on that?
Yeah. And thank you for elaborating from quoting from our previous conversation as for the advantages of using an overlay, which is cost and time. Obviously, if you put something like a clothes and just wear it, and supposedly it just do the work. Um, and on some extent, it might help to some people. The biggest gap is for people that have visual disabilities, and in particular for the people that are using a screen reader. In those cases, a person will not be able to see if there is an issue that he cannot cannot uh, find the gap and overcome it. In that case, if the user is dependent on another tool, on another software, such as a screen reader, the screen reader might fail. In that case, the user will fail. In general, when it comes to accessibility, whether it's physical or digital, there is a concept of continuity. You need to have everything accessible. So for example, if I have a wheelchair and I'm sitting on a wheelchair and I want to go from the pavement to the entrance of a house, if the door is not wide enough, if there is no ramp, if the button is too high, and like everything needs to work. If something is broken, so I will not be able to press the button. I will not be able to go on the ramp. Same with digital accessibility. If the button is not working, I will not be able to submit the form.
Yeah.
If the field is not accessible, I will not be able to fill the field. If the image is not correct, I will not be able to hear the text in the image, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So everything needs to be accessible. Otherwise, there will be a single block,
Yeah.
and the single block will block everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That is why eventually an overlay is not an ultimate solution. The way to resolve this is to have people trained. So an overlay is a start. It's a good start.
Yes.
It's saying I'm aware. I understand that it's something I need to do, but you cannot stop there. You can, but it's not recommended to stop there. Stopping there will not allow some of the population that will enter your website, some of the users that will enter your website to accomplish what they came to do. And basically, the meaning of not having everything done properly and your employees being trained, the outcome of it is that some of the user will be um, left out. And that's an exposure that on the financial aspect you don't want to have, and on the legal aspect you don't want to have. And that's where we are standing.
I totally agree 100%. And I think that is important to hear that because overlays, I mean, I am pro technology. It doesn't matter if the technology is at an infant or, adult, whatever level. I love technology. And I know, like, the TV that we have today used to be black and white. We didn't even have sound. It started somewhere. So I used to see overlays as this piece that is growing. But at the same time, I love what you said, Amihai. Do not take an overlay as the holy solution, even if the vendors are claiming that this overlay is so good it will remove 100% or 80% of the failures. No, overlays should be used as part of a strategy. One part of the strategy, you said it. Get people trained for accessibility. Get people with disabilities to come try and give you feedback. Even at the very beginning of you creating the solution, some people like to wait at the end and say, oh, we will get the tester toward the end. It costs more to try to put a bathroom in the house that has no bathroom. It's better to start the conversation at the beginning and know that
That's
oh, we need a
absolutely
bathroom,
correct.
and then you put it as the process move on. So there is a lot to unpack, but at the same time, gosh, time is over. Amihai, where can people connect with you, and what is in the horizon for accessibility?
So I am connect with me. I am just one of the many beautiful, amazing, and wonderful experts around the world, and and having an overlay is a piece in this strategy. Training people is a piece in that. Bringing in an expert is a piece of that. There are legal application to what you do in terms of your strategy as well. So you can bring consultants as for what you need to do and how you need to do it, and that's wonderful. As for technology, which I think is kind of the way to resolve and to accelerate this growth of making it faster, making it more accurate. There are tools out there that not just help the website to become accessible, there are tools that can help developers to find issues faster. DQ has such a solution.
Yes.
There are tools there are methods to do that. Level Access and DQ has these kind of solutions and others as well.
Yes.
There are tools around there that can help developers to write code more accessible semi-automatically. So it's not like the overlay, you do that through the code. I know that my previous company is having such a solution, user first, and other companies as well. So there are tools out there that can accelerate the process significantly, but nobody, and it will never be like that, unfortunately. But that's kind of the case. There
Yeah.
is no magic pill that takes everything
No,
away, and you
no,
pay like $400 and you just forget it. It doesn't work this way. We never said it will,
no.
and that's where we are. That basically that's kind of what you need to do. You can
Yes.
look for a solution. You can find a vendor. As you said, even if your vendor is saying promising the sky, bring someone else to check if that's correct,
Yes.
and control the outcome. Don't go blind
No.
after this kind of beautiful story, because it's not true.
I love it. I love it. You just said it all so well. Accessibility is like eating food and brushing your teeth. When you create solutions, uh, you gotta fix it. If you use the approach of I'm
I
just gonna
love your
brush my
example.
teeth once and I'm good, it's not working. As you eat food, you just have to brush. So when you create new solution or you're updating your code or you're entering something new, it's always better to have different strategies in place to make sure that your teeth are clean and healthy. So just make sure that your websites are clean and
Perfect.
bug free or limitation free. So we're gonna leave you on that, and I hope you got some valuable information for this session. If you liked it, put a thumbs up, reshare with your network, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.